Good, my money militia? We are looking at a few stocks today. Actually, nothing really. What am I saying? I'm running behind, and I'm stupid tired. I'm looking at HEPA, NETE, Indo, and Bngo. That's really it. Let's see what this is looking like. Okay. 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 HEPA's looking like it wants to make a recovery. Okay, so it made a beautiful pattern number fucking two 169. This bitch crazy. Holy shit. Yeah. 305. Okay, so NETE and Indo are off. It's just HEPA and yeah, HEPA's looking real fucking good, man. Let's just take a quick peek at HEPA. Yeah, I like HEPA. HEPA is a U-shaped pattern that I'm familiar with. If it'll break there, I'll definitely be interested. Me keeping. I hate when we got two runners at the same fucking time, man. Shit, what was the? Oh, there we go. She's failing over here. Pre-market, what time was this? 8:20. I was not stalking the shit out of these stocks. She fell to the top of the V. Just still good. Still strong. 373, 350. 1,000 divided by 2.
The answer is 500.
Wow, I sound so stupid. HEPA just fell off as well. Damn. I don't really like these patterns here. And this was definitely a scalp. Anytime a chart looks like that in the pre-market, it's a scalp. Um, only thing that's keeping me interested seriously is that, well, I mean, it's holding VWAP, but had it held the top of this V right here, I'd have been more interested. But I think it's over. I think it's over for this one. This was a beautiful ride, though. Bada bing, 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 bing. But we got the moving average mashup right here. I was watching that just now. I was looking at how the moving averages looked during the pre-market, and they were acting more like resistance. There's the mashup happening here. Yeah, see? This is dangerous with this one. This is scary, but you know what? E. My stop loss is 200, right below the 200. Oh. Whoa. This is a fucking dangerous one. Yeah, I gotta keep my stop loss there. Yeah, I'll keep it down there. Damn, negative 80. She's either gonna pop or fail, so. There we go. There we go. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, ya Rab. Let's see. This bitch crazy right here. This right here didn't, I mean, it did what it did, but shit, people who are holding in from here had to take profits. That's a lot of money. And the stock ripping like this, you don't really know what's gooch. So the bulls are gonna want to see what's good. The bears are gonna want to see what's good. They're already attacking the shit out of it, these fucking cocksucking bears. She's struggling here, so she needs to either break or get the fuck out, man. Let's go. The amount of volume on this thing is crazy. 30 million? It's probably more by now. 85 million. Wow. But the bears could very easily get a hold of this. Whoa. Whoa. Let's go. Alright, if it's not gonna pop, I gotta close. Misery. Alright, so this bad boy kind of fell off, but the 200 is moving up, so it might want to respect the 200. I'll move it down just a little bit. And I am kind of doing this because it's a paper trade. In my real account, I mean, I probably honestly would say I'd be really considering a close at that point. But thank God it's kind of showing me green. But at that same token, it could still just be profit taken from the bulls. But it doesn't, I mean, the bears. But it doesn't actually look like that. She is struggling. But since it is a paper trade, I'll let this play out and we'll see. I'd be gone uh, if my stop loss would be tighter. Honestly, it'd be like right on the VWAP. Who the fuck wants to keep this bitch down, bro? Getting me tight. Let's go. Let's go. Fucking A, mamacita. Fucking A, mamacita. Fucking A, mamacita. Fucking A, mamacita. Nice, she held the level. I'm moving my stop loss up more to right there. Come on, baby. Ooh. Yeah, my stop loss is right where either it'll catch itself, or if it fails, it's no coming back. Why did I let that play out? Because I should have known this is a scalperoo. Damn, this new style of trading is different for me, man. I'm letting them play, but I'm also stopping out at key levels. If it, crosses this key level, I'm out. Whatever the money is, the money is. The performance is dictating, my exits, which is good because, I need to stay in for those $3,000 and $4,000 winners. I left like almost 30 grand on the table over the summer, which is fucking disheartening. Like, come on, man. And I think I'm pretty good at judging. I mean, alhamdulillah, it's not like just me, it's also God. But judging where the key level would be. Because my stop was right below. Ooh, daddy. Show us the motherfucking money, baby. I go. She don't want to break that level though. There she goes. She broke it. Let's go. Shorty broke. And look at the V. Complete V. It wasn't a just barely V. Because those just barely Vs, I've noticed they don't fucking um work. I think she's done, guys. Yeah, I'll take the $55. I could be wrong here. I just don't like how it didn't make a newer high here. Motherfucker. Damn, Sunny motherfucker. Damn, son. Fucking shit. Shows you what happens when you get emotional, but it looked weak. It had no conviction, and the chart doesn't scream runner. Screams fucking whippity whip. But stop loss tight. But I just didn't believe in it up there, man.
The Bond Report is brought to you by Bngo, a global leader in active
No,
fixed income.
I didn't.
Hey, Dad.
Hey, son.
No, Dad, it's a video call. You gotta move the phone in front of you, like it's a mirror, Dad. You know.
Okay.
Is that how you hold a mirror?
Power E-Trade gives you an award-winning mobile app with powerful, easy-to-use tools and interactive charts to give you an edge. 24/7 support when you need it the most, plus $0 commissions for online U.S.-listed stocks. Don't get mad. Get E-Trade and start trading today.
New projects means new project managers. You need to hire.
I need Indeed.
Indeed, you do. The moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from a resume database. Claim your $75 credit when you post your first job at Indeed.com/home.
As someone with hearing loss, I know what a confusing and frustrating experience getting hearing aids can be. That's why I founded Lively. Affordable, high-quality hearing aids with all of the features you need and none of the hassle.
I use Lively hearing aids and it's been wonderful.
It's so light and so small.
But it's a fraction of the cost of the other devices.
She's failing up there. I mean, she's not looking strong. She needs to burst.
Online, doctor programs in the settings. You don't even need to go into an office.
They're delivered to your door in a few days, and you're up and running in no time.
It connects via Bluetooth to my phone.
You can stream music, and you can answer phone calls.
The audiologist was so incredible.
She's full of all kinds of little helpful hints.
I love it.
They're a game changer for me.
I feel like
It's never been this easy. Try Lively risk-free for 100 days. Visit listenlively.com.
When it's time to sell your home, there's a lot of money on the line. How can you trust your real estate agent will get it right? There's good news. With HomeLight, you can compare actual
Look
performance
at that.
with
Look at
thousands of
that.
agents near you, so you know
It's just very slow, honestly.
who sells for the best price. We'll match you with the perfect agent for your needs. Best of all, it's free. Sell your home for more money. Go to homelight.com.
I was about to flatten again.
Does your vitamin
It
C
just
last
looks like
24
it's
hours?
struggling.
Only Nature's Bounty does. New Immune 24 Hours
Fuck it, man.
has longer lasting vitamin
It don't
C
look strong. I don't know why.
than other immune superstars. Only
Ah.
Nature's Bounty.
Months of rent unpaid, that's what millions of Americans are facing on a daily basis now.
Close to 1 in 5 renter households is behind on the rent. That's nearly 8 million homes.
The facts, the truth. News with Shepard Smith. Weeknights 7 Eastern, CNBC.
A reminder that some of the huge gains we've seen this year for several blue chip stocks in the Dow. Apple up more than 40% year-to-date. Microsoft up more than 40%, and Disney shares have risen 25+% since the start of the year as well.
Oh.
2021 hold for these names. We're going to break it down at the top of the next hour. You don't want to miss that. Stay with us.
Japanese innovations are paving the way to a post-pandemic robotics disinfect and protect.
Damn,
As the
son.
situation with the virus evolves, robots will begin to play a more important role. Robotics can be applied in many real-world applications to help in this pandemic. AI reinvents retail.
I don't like the news. I don't like anything. See, yeah. Holy shit.
Conventional business models and
Bro.
refuse to change our mindset. We will definitely lose.
Holy shit. I mean, it could still run, but
Retailers have to decide if they want to embrace this change.
And virtual reality solves the challenges of telecommuting.
You won't be constrained by the time and space, so you can be.
this Stakaya is a crazy one because it has no business being even gapped up this high because why? There's nothing behind it besides that it got a letter from the NASDAQ or I think, NASDAQ, not the New York Stock Exchange.
I got excited. I love when you
It makes me feel